I'm Julie Zenner along with Dennis Anderson, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
Well, the wall that heals, a replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, is coming to Superior next week. We'll have more on the wall and events surrounding the free public viewings.
This weekend is dedicated to the Big Lake, 3 days of fun and information about Lake Superior and the importance of the largest freshwater body in the world.
And we'll have the week's top business headlines and bring you a story from our news archives.
It's all coming up next on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thanks for watching. Denny, the skies have finally cleared after a gloomy and chilly few days around here.
Almost felt like winter there for a couple of days this past week, but skies are clearing for a great weekend. A lot going on around this region.
It looks like there's a lot going on,
Yeah.
and we've got some good topics tonight, so let's get started.
All right, that we do. Thank you, Julie, very much. Welcome, everyone. Well, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. is one of our nation's most popular sites, with nearly 6 million visitors a year. But not everyone can travel to the nation's capital to visit the wall. Next week, a half-scale replica of the memorial is coming to Superior, and it's going to be on display at Barker's Island. The wall that heals honors more than 3 million Americans who served in the Vietnam War and the 58,000 men and women who died. Joining us tonight now is Charmaine Holtz, freight coordinator for Halvor Lines, which is hosting the wall's visit to Superior. Scriven is the executive director of the Richard I. Bong Veterans Historical Center in Superior, and Debbie Landry is the director of driver services at Halvor Lines. Thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you.
And Charmaine, your company is transporting the wall into town and out of town. Why is your firm so enthusiastic about veterans events and particularly this wall?
It's very important to recognize the sacrifices that they've made, and we employ a good percentage. Debbie?
We do, yes. 30% of our workforce at Halvor Lines is veterans.
Really?
They're veterans, active military, or retired military. So it's very important for us as a company to participate in events like this.
Mm-hmm. Hayes, this has to be a fairly exciting time for you to have something, an exhibit like this come to town, especially with the work that you do with veterans.
Yeah, it's actually quite amazing. And when I first saw the little press release that was in the paper about the wall coming, I got really excited, and I immediately started calling around to find out who I should contact about this, and it just kind of fell into place that I got connected up with Charmaine and the folks at Halvor and just said, hey, how can the Bong Center help you out here? We want to do what we can to help share stories and offer a place that might be offset from the wall for veterans to gather and chat and heal.
Mm-hmm. Charmaine, how big a deal is it to get this to come to Superior?
It's a sizable deal. You have to actually apply a year in advance. So we actually applied for it in June of 2016, and I believe we found out in like around November, December that we were chosen as one of the sites. They have about 35 per year that they go to around the country. So I think it's a big deal, yeah.
So Debbie, what kind of opportunities will the public have then to see the wall, to spend some time there?
Sure. Well, the wall will actually open once it's set up on Wednesday, late afternoon, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. And then it's open 24 hours a day until Sunday at 3 p.m. So it is staffed with volunteers, and we could use a few more volunteers, but it is staffed 24 hours a day and is open 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Talk about the exhibit itself and what people will be able to see and experience there.
Sure. Charmaine, do you want to take that?
Sure. Well, the exhibit, as we know, it's a half-scale replica of the wall. So that's the focal point. And then the trailer, 53-foot semi-trailer that brings it in, actually becomes a mobile education center. There are, on one side, there are 3 interactive screens where you can look up a name. There's information on the conflict itself. There's memorabilia. There are letters. Just all kinds of different things. So I think it very moving. Yeah.
And are all of the names that are on the full memorial on the half-scale model too?
They are. Yeah, it's just the same. Yeah.
Well, so there will be opportunities for local people to actually access information and try to locate where their
Correct.
people are on?
Yep. Actually, it's all computerized nowadays. Obviously, you know that. And yeah, there's in one of the screens where you can look up a name. It'll tell you just exactly where to go on the wall itself.
Yeah.
And then if you can't do the rubbing like you can in Vietnam or in Washington, but you can leave the information with the volunteers, and they actually take that back to Washington, and then they have volunteers that come in, I believe, once a week, and they actually do the rubbing for you off the actual wall, and they'll mail that to you at home.
So Hayes, will the wall be at the Bong Center? Is that where it'll be located?
No, actually it'll be over on Barker's Island, right by the whaleback there. So just kind of over the road a little bit from the
Real
center.
close.
Yep. And so hopefully people that are coming by will go down and experience the wall and have their time down there. And then if they want to come up and learn more about some Northland heroes that fought in Vietnam or other conflicts, can come up to the center and even just have a time to kind of reflect up there and maybe just kind of decompress a little
Let's talk about that for a couple of moments. What kind of an impact does the Bong Center have, not only on Superior, but on Duluth and the surrounding region, the Iron Range, and really deep into Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's truly a Northland center for all veterans to come in and just kind of have a place to talk and communicate. And we're there to tell all these veteran stories. It's not just a Duluth Superior thing. It's like you said, it's all the way up the range, all on the South Range as well, and just everywhere for people to come in and chat and learn about these soldiers and their stories, and even the people at home as well. It's something that we want to broaden out and do a little bit more of, and just give people a better awareness and understanding of what all these people went through, trying to protect our freedoms, and that's really what the center's about, and we're hoping to kind of showcase that in the next couple of weeks here with the wall coming in, and give people a chance to, like I said, just kind of hang out at the center and know more about what we're doing.
I imagine you come face to face with a lot of Vietnam vets. Do you get a sense that there's still a lot of residual pain that they're experiencing, that this wall actually can be a wall of healing?
I think so, and one of the volunteers that we have at the center, one of our best ones, is a Vietnam vet, and he was telling me that one of the reasons why he likes coming to the center is that it's a place for healing, for him to talk about his experiences and get stuff off of his chest and just be with other people that went through similar experiences. And hopefully the wall will be able to provide that as well. And the center and the American Legion Post 435 that's based out of our building are always open to talking with veterans about their experiences and maybe hoping to help them heal as well.
You can all jump in on this one if you'd like. What do you think future generations can learn from the wall, either the one in Washington or the traveling wall, and from the Bong Museum, or the Bong Center? What can we learn from that? What can today's young people take away?
Well, freedom comes at a price, and these brave men and women have stood up to protect our freedoms, and they sacrifice a lot. And the center's there to help educate people on that, and it's also a local history angle as well. We want people to come in and learn about their community and learn these stories, because you can see, the community's identity in these stories. And granted, it's a small sliver of that, but the veteran stories are very powerful, and hopefully people can see their community in these stories. And
now, veterans will be able to come and record their stories on the 22nd.
Yep.
And that'll be at the Bong Center?
Yep, in partnership here with you guys.
Channel 8.
Yep, we're going to be collecting oral histories from 10 to 2 of Vietnam veterans, and that'll be part of a documentary that Channel 8 is doing. And then at 3 o'clock, we're hoping to have some people stick around and tell their stories to the public. So hopefully we can get a few Vietnam vets that are willing to share their stories with the public, and we've already got 3 of our volunteers are willing to do that. and they're going to be some interesting stories. And I had a conversation with a guy from Duluth the other day, and it was a 20-minute conversation, and he just wanted to tell me about it, and it sounds like he's going to bring a couple of people in as well. And one of the other things that we're going to be doing that day from 11 to 2 is we're hosting a free hot dog picnic for anybody and everybody to come by and just kind of get some food and hopefully once again decompress and just have a wonderful day.
Debbie, you mentioned that 30% of the employees at Halvor Lines are veterans. What kind of a response are you getting from those employees as this whole thing comes together and starts coming to town?
Oh, the whole company has really been on board with this and excited. In our business, we have over-the-road truck drivers, so of course not everybody can be here, but we're very fortunate that we're able to have it from Wednesday through Sunday, so that most people, you know, it really gives people an opportunity to make it one day, if not another. So Charmaine and I are really looking forward to seeing the employees, and ownership has been behind us 110%. They've been just awesome in supporting us, and it's just great.
Has it been a conscious decision at Halvor Lines to employ veterans or give a preferential hiring to veterans? Or
Yes, yes. We really, the work ethic that we find in the veterans is obviously very outstanding. And a lot of people are ready for a second career when they retire or get out of the military. So it seems to be a really good fit for a lot of those folks just to transition.
Charmaine, talk a little bit about what's going to happen for the opening ceremonies, what people can expect, and what you have planned.
Well, we have, we'll start with color guard, and we'll start, you don't really want me to go through all that, I suppose, but anyway, we'll have some speakers, Mayor Payne, County Chairman Liebert. We have a young gentleman named Jason Church. He's a liaison for Secretary Zimmerman's office in Madison. He's got an amazing story. And then close that out with John Vinge, president of Halvor Lines. So it's be a nice ceremony. And
Veterans, of course, are aging. But if we really want our young people to remember what Grandpa and Grandma did in the military, it would seem to me that this also might be for some younger people to see the wall, to understand what it represents, to see the Bong Center, to see what that represents. Can you comment on that a little bit?
It is important to educate the youth of today on what the sacrifices are and what these veterans have gone through, because it's different each era, and for them to know what Vietnam was about is a very good thing, so you can understand what that was all about. Even today's conflicts, we want to educate the people on stuff that's going on in the world, and hopefully they can kind of see that there are differences, and people have different perspectives on all of this too. There's a wide-ranging belief and even of things that people went through. So we want them to understand all of this, and that's why we just got done having 3,000 school kids through the Bong Center. It's a priority of us to educate the youth on this, so they have a better understanding of what's out in the world like this, and hopefully they can better appreciate these stories and understand why we are the way we are.
And the value of having the veterans tell these stories in their own words has to be pretty profound.
It's very powerful, and when you can hear a veteran talk about their experiences and what they went through, you can have that emotional connection with them and feel like you were there with them and better understand their experiences. That's the best way to experience these kind of stories and just history in general.
All right, thank you, Charmaine, Hayes, Debbie. Thank you very much for coming in and telling your story.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
Now, let's dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
This 47-mile stretch of two-lane highway from Superior to Ashland is known for its dangerous curves and poor visibility. A steering committee made up of elected officials from towns along the highway are working to expand the road to 4 lanes. At the end of the month, the group will present its plan to the Transportation Projects Commission in hopes the expansion will be approved for state funding. Trucking materials is a major part of Poplar Building Supplies business. The 2-lane highway slows down truckers and costs the company time and money.
I think it'll help just in saving the time for delivery trucks, plus easier for the customers to get in and out without having to wait for traffic. If they can get on and off a lot easier, they'll be more apt to stop for us.
Some businesses in Iron River say they lose patrons because many prefer not to drive on the sometimes slow-moving highway, the only one that leads to their town.
The northern area needs a lot more business than we have right now.
And you think this would help?
I think it would definitely help.
If funding is approved for the project, it will be at least 6 years before construction begins. On Highway 2, Laura Cowan, KDLH News.
Back in the 1990s, folks in Thunder Bay decided to set aside a day to celebrate the wonders of Lake Superior. The idea caught on, and now more than 20 years later, the Big Lake is honored from shore to shore each third Sunday in July. Organizers of Lake Superior Day in the Twin Ports have decided that one day is not enough to sing the praises of the world's largest freshwater lake, so a full 3 days of activities are on tap this weekend. And here with more is Konnie LeMay, editor of Lake Superior magazine, and Jesse Schomberg is a coastal planner with Minnesota Sea Grant in Duluth. And thanks to both of you for coming in.
Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Connie, it seems like Lake Superior Day just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Now it's Lake Superior Days. So, talk about that and how it really has grown over the years.
That's right. Well, especially in Duluth, we have a group that meets every year, and we have at least half a dozen or more organizations that are working on the project every year. And it just seems like the perfect time to get out information about the lake, about water issues, about safety issues. Sure. And so kind of a good time to celebrate, to honor, and to learn about the Great Lake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Jesse, how is Sea Grant Minnesota involved?
Well, like Connie said, you know, we're really eager to let folks know about the wonders that is our Lake Superior and ways that folks can protect the lake and to try to, you know, take care of things. So, you know, it's a great chance for us to get down there and talk with folks. You know, we had some booths today down at the Maritime Museum. We had folks from Sea Grant talking about invasive species, and we know that's an important issue for folks to not spread those. And it's a chance for us to talk about rip currents as well, so folks that are in the lake are staying safe and, you know, and using the lake well and having fun, but not getting hurt.
Are you trying to educate youth or adults?
You know, both, really. And a big part of it's visitors. For folks that live in Duluth, we find, and we've done surveys of folks on the beach, the folks that live here mostly know. Yeah. They know we have rip currents, they know what to do. But the visitors that are coming to our area don't necessarily know. They hear Lake Superior and they think it's just like all the other lakes, but this isn't like all the other lakes. We have
What is a rip current?
It's a strong current of water that flows away from shore. We get them on wavy days when waves are crashing over the sandbar, and it pulls you out into the lake. Yeah, so there's a couple of really key things about it. One, they're really, really fast, like faster than Michael Phelps can swim, really fast. But the second key piece is they're narrow, and that's what lets you escape. Because they're narrow, because they're so fast, you can't fight against it and try to get to shore, but because they're narrow, you can swim off to the side, and then you can get out of that current and then make your way to shore.
Mm-hmm. We don't want you to blow the whole deal and tell everybody what your whole presentation is, but are there some just safety tips that you can share with our audience about riptides that might help them recognize an area that would have a riptide or escape if they get caught in one?
Yeah, well, for in Duluth, it's from Park Point, where we have the sandy beaches. That's where they form, so that's where you need to watch out for them. And Duluth has been great. We work with the fire department and parks, and we've got flags up along the beach now. just like these, that let folks know what the risk is. So, green flags are great days to go swimming. The other flags you got to really watch out. Red flags are really dangerous. Bad day to be at the beach. Great day to go to the movie, do something else.
Rip currents are narrow, 5 feet?
20 feet, 50 feet,
Okay.
sometimes up to 100. But
I see.
yeah.
Okay.
So there are a lot of presentations like this, I understand, this weekend planned
Yes,
in and around Duluth.
Today we're trying something a little different this year. We call them 10-minute tent talks, and we have a tent down at the Lake Superior Maritime Visitor Center, where in Duluth the events are focused. And so today was Children's Day, and we had the people from Dances on the Lake Walk, who are performing this evening at 7 for free, and again tomorrow night at 7 for free on the Lake Walk. And they were teaching the kids about the 3 forms of water: liquid, gas, and solid. And I do solid best, I must say, but being a Minnesotan, if I'm dancing. But so they were dancing with the children. Adele from the Duluth Port Authority came down and was having them pour taconite into a oar boat to see if they could do it without tipping it over, and talked a little bit about shipping. And so that's some of the stuff we had. Tomorrow will be more of adult-oriented program, and so we have several speakers talking about how climate change might affect our fisheries, how it might affect the lake itself, or what we can do to help its resilience. We have some award-winning writers from the Lake Superior Writers Group who will be reading from their excerpt of the new book, Going Coastal, and some other speakers during the day.
Lake Superior Magazine has a Stump the Editor's table. What's that all about? You're the editor.
Yes, I'm the editor, and the first child who came up stumped me already. So that was pretty easy.
Well, you got to tell us, what did they stump you on?
Right.
I bet you know the answer now.
Well, I do, but I haven't verified it. But no, he was asking me the weight of a lake sturgeon, or of a beluga sturgeon, and I'm thinking he might have confused it with the larger sturgeons in other parts of the world. But it's fun to talk.
Good
Sturgeon
question.
are one of my favorite fish. I mean, they get 150. They live 150 years. They're as tall as I am. You get there. You got to love them. Yeah. So that was some of the conversation we had today.
Jesse, as you look at Lake Superior, and a lot of attention has been focused on it over the years in terms of preserving it, cleaning up pollution, restoring habitat. How do you think that we're doing in terms of treating our Great Lake the way it should be treated?
Yeah, I think in some ways we're doing really well. I mean, I think you can look at the St. Louis River as a great example of how communities have really done a good job at cleaning up some of the things that we really knew were problems: sewage and industrial waste and other things. As bad as our harbor was, it's really thriving right now, and there's more work going on, obviously, but I think that's a really good sign. I think there's some areas where we still have a little bit of work to do. Stormwater runoff from our communities still brings a lot of pollutants into the lake. And I think climate change is the other thing that's a real big challenge. That's, it's bigger than just our communities, but it's going to have a big impact. It is having an impact on the lake right now.
What are some of the things that are being seen around Lake Superior that could be attributed to climate change?
I think one of the things that's been most striking is the research that's been done by Jay Austin following the temperature of the lake itself. And it appears that the lake is warming at a much faster pace than the air or in other parts of the world. So we actually might be, which does make sense if you think about the fact that this is the largest lake by surface area. So it has the most space exposed to the sun. And so there is some sense that this would be one of the places affected by changes that we're seeing. So that's been, I think, a really interesting piece of work. I don't know if, and therefore water temperatures affect quite a bit. It does affect the fisheries.
Yeah.
I don't know if it affects rip currents, but it definitely it may affect the current patterns that we have in the lake itself.
We're just about out of time, but Now, Duluth is not the only place celebrating Lake Superior Day.
Yes.
Talk about what's going on around the lake, or where people can find information. That might be easier.
Exactly. Well, lakesuperior.com, on our website, we have a little logo of the Lake Superior Day. Go on there, and you'll actually find it. It's all around the lake. There's stuff going on in Ontario, Michigan, Wisconsin, and here in Duluth and Superior. Duluth, we've got the informational tables on Friday and Saturday, and then we're telling everyone, go to Barker's Island in Superior on Sunday, because they're going to have a big bash with live music and lots of vendors and tables there with information.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing
Thank
information,
you.
and I hope everybody gets out and
Get
celebrates
down to the
big lake.
It's beautiful out there.
It should be a gorgeous weekend for
Perfect
it.
weekend.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's time now for the business news from the editors at Business North. About 29 positions will be eliminated during the next year at the Duluth-based Maurice's office. The job loss is a result of corporate owner Ascena Retail Group implementing a leaner business model. Ascena is among retailers nationwide that have been plagued by an outflow of customers to internet sellers. To cut costs, it is transferring some human resource and finance functions to a third-party provider. Employees affected will continue working in their current roles for the next 6 to 12 months, depending on their responsibilities.
A business park owned by Bayfield County is gradually gaining occupants. Since 2014, Superior Sauna, Bayfield Regional Food Producers Co-op, and KV Tech Construction have purchased land in the 160-acre park. It's located 3 miles west of Ashland near Highway 2 and borders the Tri-County corridor. The location allows employees to ride their bicycles or ATVs to work. County officials say the overarching goal is to create development opportunities that keep young people in the area.
With growth of 5% annually, Natural Harvest Food Cooperative in Virginia has constructed a new building to accommodate demand. $3.2 million invested to give the business a fresh, modern look. The co-op has 2 checkout lanes and a demonstration room where lifestyle, nutrition, and cooking classes can be held. A hot deli and salad bar also were added. Natural Harvest is the only co-op between Duluth, Grand Marais, and Bemidji, drawing people from about a 100-mile radius. All of its produce is organically grown, and the co-op employs 37 people. For more on these and other stories, visit businessnorth.com.
If you have a comment, call now. Dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message. You can also send an email to almanacnorth@wdse.org. And don't forget, visit the WDSE website for program schedules, the latest news from the station, and event updates. And Denny, a warm weekend ahead, plenty of outdoor activities around the region. I hope you have a chance to get out and enjoy them a little bit.
Going to do that exactly, and I think they're probably, you name the town, I think there's something going on this weekend.
There is, and it should be lovely. For Denny and the crew here at Almanac North, I'm Julie Zenner. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next time.